took a while to come to this series because this topic is very vast, and we just wanted to understand and filter in the content that should go in, because we don't want the viewers to get confused, to get repelled by the whole complexity of it. So here in this series, we are going to introduce Elliott waves the way they are, the most realistic sense that we could get, and without putting too much sugar coating around it. So this is the series that is aimed at somebody who is very new to a concept or haven't heard of Elliott waves in a while. So they'll be understanding what that is, whether they'll make sense of it for themselves, and maybe they'll decide whether it is something for them or not. So let's begin. Now, Elliott waves comes from a concept that there are cycles, and I think it's the same fundamental thing in our technical analysis as well. That there are certain things that repeat themselves. So the fundamental analysis works on a specific assumption that whatever was the price level that where earlier was tested, or where the price bounced from, which acts as a support, will continue to remain a support till it's broken. Then if it is broken, that becomes a resistance and things like that. So the cyclicity is a very common factor that goes well in both Elliott waves and also in the normal technical analysis. Now, what is different, or what is slightly added into this whole complexity, is that the cycle is made of two parts. Okay, the entire market cycle is made of two parts. That is, one sort of thing is moving in one direction, the other thing is moving in the other direction, right? So a price movement that goes on into one single movement, it's we're calling it impulse. This is one direction. Now, I'm not saying that price moving up is necessarily impulse. Price moving in one direction is impulse. Price moving in the opposite direction is corrective, right? So this entire cycle that comprises of one impulse and a corrective is basically a repeating unit in the Elliott waves fundamental theory, right? Now, this impulse is made of five waves. Usually, these are simply numbered or named as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll just simply make it slightly bigger. And we have three waves in the corrective. Usually, again, things vary, and they get longer waves, they get bigger waves also. We'll see that in the subsequent part of this series anyway. So this entire impulse in one direction and a corrective in other direction is a repeating unit in Elliott wave, and these are the building blocks of any kind of people participation. Now, the important part here is people participation. What does all of this thing exist is because there are people with a lot of emotions are either taking trades, or they are squaring off positions, or there is something that is happening. So when I say people, it's not necessarily people, it is exchanging the volume, basically the transactions that are taking place either by an institutional investor or an institutional uh, player, or it could be a simple retailers or a large number of retailers. So depending upon what actions they take, this is how the market behaves. This is more like an observed thing. There are more fundamentals or the rules that are formed after observing some pattern, and after putting some structure, after measuring some certain specific things, right? So this is similar to a Dow theory, wherein there is people participation. We say higher highs or lower lows, and that's the trend. That's when the trend is reversed, and all sorts of thing we can draw a parallel from there. So this is a fundamental assumption, or the whole principle of Elliott waves. You will have an impulse and a corrective, and that is a cycle that is formed, or that is taken, that exists in the first place, because there is a lot of participation, and every participation leads to some or the other movement in this particular structure. This is the fundamental assumption. Now, in the next video, we'll look at impulse and detail. Let's understand this in stepwise manner so that we don't get overwhelmed by the information. Now, this is the basic understanding of how an Elliott wave is formed. So, what exactly the wave is? What is this one? What is this ABC? All of this will see it in the phase wise manner. Thank you so much.